And we are back for Division 2, Day 1, Week 1. It's Rate Gaming versus Domino. How are you feeling, Jamada?
Pretty good.
Can't quite see you. You're kind of
No,
bloody,
you
like the game itself. But yeah,
that's me.
no prisoners.
So, two organizations
Mm.
who were pretty interesting teams to talk about last split, right? I think Rate kind of came online fairly late, so like halfway through the split. If memory, well, no, memory does serve me right. That is exactly what happened. Of course, roster Arcane Teddy, top side. It was a very, very fun roster to watch in general. And I feel like Domino was as a team was, I wouldn't say not fun, but they were super inconsistent for a very long time. I think they were the team that almost, I think they went from 7-5 to like finishing the split 9-9. I think it kind of says a lot. I think it was 9-9 anyway. That's I have to double check. Anyway, we had that massive cluster in the middle of the regular split.
Yeah.
Ending, and Domino was in the mix of that. And it felt like time and time again, Domino doing so many things right, and then just so many things wrong, and too many things wrong, costing them victories. Now, of course, kind of across the board, it's effectively an entirely new roster for Domino. Ripped is the only member returning, but he's going to be playing in the mid lane this split as opposed to the top side. And as for Rate, it's pretty much similar deal. It's only Errol who's back from Spring Split, coming over from Flung. So I'm not really too sure what to expect when you have, entirely different setups from both ends.
I mean, it doesn't matter because we're jumping into Champion Select, so we're going to take those as we go into game. And we heard about Rusty Sniper. Kog'Maw is the new flavor alongside with the Lulu, so this is going to happen regardless of what you're going to do. So you ban it, you take away the Lulu, but there's a lot of enchanters as well that can provide that safety net for Kog'Maw.
Yeah,
so you're more than fine.
It does feel like as well. I'm not going to say it's necessarily a sort of next one down. But maybe seeing Renata come in as a bit of a duo. It's definitely a very unsafe bottom lane that can be picked on, but the ability to have the bailout on the Kog'Maw could really be the difference maker in a late game team fight. And Kog'Maw getting that last auto attack off and being resurrected back to life and just simply dying and going into passive state. So we're going to see Karma moved away on the opposite side. Talia, Wukong, and Lucian all still up right now. One of those champions has to go through. We'll see which one Rate wants to ban the most at this moment in time, because it seems to be none of them with Lilia coming through. So, I mean, if I'm Domino, honestly, I'm probably leaving all three up. Lucian, Talia, and the Wukong. And then you're just looking to trade those champions.
And if I may, there's also a GP available. You get the Gwen, but GP is available. It's a really good top lane right now, really solid. A lot of players know how to play GP, and you can provide a lot of man pressure with the ultimate. So that's more than enough. There you go. The secret tech, the Ashe has been banned, but the Kog'Maw is still available. So Domino wants to go for the Kog'Maw, but will Rate.
No, I actually think this is likely a bait. I think they're trying to push Hellman onto the Kog'Maw.
Okay.
Ban potentially. We're seeing a Talia hover, and again, this is a bit of a an overloaded draft, as Gorborg would say. And Talia will get locked in. So Wukong up and available, Lucian and Kog'Maw up and available. Jinx also the other champion alongside those that is up. So they're gonna take the Jinx. We could very well see the Kog'Maw come in. I don't think it would be too much of a surprise. But my question is, what will it be paired up with in the bottom lane? As a lane duo, right? I think right now Talia, kind of a flex, so maybe you don't even want to show it. Something like Norless honestly makes sense. You provide some lockdown for that Talia damage for the not the worked ground. We fixed the overlay. Very. Hey,
this is production. Good job.
So that's just a funny phrase that has to be said on broadcast. I'm sorry. So to break the fourth wall a little bit, we don't actually. Our producer isn't talking to us in our ear whilst we're talking, because it's just how we're running the show today.
Yeah.
We are getting messages on screen, and he just puts magic fingers, and I feel like.
And they were.
Yeah, and it just. No, it's hovering.
You also get a call out.
Hovering for me, it seems like
it's good. It feels good.
Like,
feels good.
Yeah. But Kai'Sa will be
Mm.
brought in here. Curious to see whether or not it'll be the AP variant or the AD variant. I imagine the AD variant on the
AD, yeah.
1210 patch. But there you go, the Renard comes in. So you got the Jinx for there with the bailout. Of course, we've had a lot of conversation since Renard's release about how some of the laning phases go. Of course, Norless originally being one of the rougher lanes that she could play into, but again, with the durability patch, these squishier champions have a much easier time in these tougher lanes. So I'm curious to see how Velocity will play this one out with Sin on the bottom side, but Tristana being banned away from the solo lane pool, and Errol having his Cassiopeia banned away. The few times that he was able to get his hands on it, he ran an absolute muck.
Banning phase is going away as Acacia is also going to be removed. Are they going to take more AD carries? The idea is they're not totally fixed that Kaisa is going. Ah, there we go, the GP.
Yeah.
The Kaisa could go into the mid as well. It could be a sneaky one. You could have Tali on the bot side.
Honestly. Yeah, I mean, I feel like
This is the flex.
if the matchup, is good enough, you could maybe still run Kaiser in the mid lane. I feel like it's very, very niche, but I feel like
Mhm.
there is at the very least kind of space for it. It wouldn't be the best thing in the world, in my opinion, but I think right now, Domino looking towards their mid lane pick, I expect to probably see the mid lane revealed here, unless they really prioritize Errol's mid lane pick, which wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, to be honest. I think giving a player as mechanically gifted as Errol the counter pick to see all 5 champions wouldn't be with, wouldn't be something that I would question as an analyst, but they will give him the Victor here. There's a fair amount of sort of medium, short range champions that he's going to always have access to damage, but they are going to be trying to dive onto him, so we'll see how he pilots out this Victor. But for the other side, Zero potentially still has his champion to pick. Porcupine still has the jungler to also pick up. I think in most cases, Talia, while she still can be played in the jungle, it's not the most common position for her anymore. But also Spuda has to have his top lane picked, I think, most crucially. And we're going to get an echo of all things. But this does
Oh.
heavily push rate into the magic damage profile. Even if this Kaiser is going AD, it's 3 champions that are predominantly dealing magic damage, and Kaiser, who's kind of dealing, for being generous, sort of somewhere in the realm of about 80% physical,
Mhm.
20% magic. So there's still a fair amount of magic coming out of Kaiser, so the magic is going to go the distance. They need a true AD threat. If they go for a frontliner, magic resist is going to be really high value. So I like to see something like the Aatrox come in. I think it can definitely kind of struggle into what Domino have, but in the context of what they needed for their draft, I think it kind of makes sense when you're diving forward. You have the engage from the Norless. It's not the most, it's just effectively kind of most reliable thing you can get out of the support role. Press your R key on somebody that walks too far forward, try and lock them down and dive on them. Now it's over to Nolto, who is gonna give us a Fiora game.
Percentage HP. Percentage HP. I'm not fine with that champion, but I'm fine by it being picked, being new in terms of meta, and we can finally see her back. The challenge has been provided against Aatrox, so I'm really interested. We get to see a Talia, we get to see an Echo, Kai'Sa in the bot side. On the other side is going to be Fiora. I don't think it's going to be a Fiora on the mid lane. It could be though. It could definitely be. I don't know how Victor is going to fade out versus an Aatrox, but yeah.
Yeah, so it seems pretty interesting, all in all, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
I think to me,
I miss
uh,
Division 2.
I I do miss Division 2.
Yeah.
This is the reason why we're here for Division 2. And of course, not mentioned, kind of my bad. Teams are the wrong way around. Pretty sure. Unless it got fixed and I wasn't watching. Teams are the wrong way around. Or the symbols are. We'll get confirmation on who is where in game
Mhm.
because obviously they'll be
It's
fixed.
set up, yeah.
So apologies for that on the graphical end. But yes, for now, these are the drafts we're looking at. Fiora, I think, has a fair amount of room to thrive here. A lot of the champions have pretty predictable hard CC, and Fiora realistically is going to outscale the hell out of Aatrox on the side lane, but it's about surviving the early laning phase. That is the problem. So we will wait and see how Nonto plays this one out. Of course,
There
Fiora,
you go.
no,
Wait.
still the same
It's
way
still
around.
the same because I saw I saw the update. I'm like, aha,
It's gonna
he
be fixed in game.
fixed.
It's gonna be fixed
Maybe
in game.
not.
It's gonna be fixed in
No
game.
way.
Apologies for those at home. Uh, but yeah, Fiora is kind of a ticking time bomb in this game. I'm looking towards the rest of the map and I'm saying, okay, Domino, you've got your Kai'Sa, you got your Kai'Sa Nautilus on the bottom side. You have Echo, who wants to be a pretty skirmish-heavy, explosive mid lane, an early sort of game team fire.
Mhm.
How are you going to enable this? And again, I feel like there's so much magic damage on the bottom side of the map that I wouldn't be surprised to see most of these players do something like just pick up a no magic mana and just sit on it, just for the sake of just having the additional resist is going to go the distance in taking significantly less damage.
Welcome back to the Summoner's Rift as we head on into the third game of the night, Division 2, Week 1, Day 1. I hope you guys are excited. I don't know how you're watching the game, but hit us at our Twitter, hashtag NLC at home. We don't show it yet on the live while we're casting on Division 2. Yet. Soon. TM. Yeah. I don't think we're going to do it, but eventually we'll see if our production can handle that. That's a lot to take in. But I want to know, are you watching this? Are you having fun above all? And how are you finding this new patch, by the way? Are you enjoying the new patch? How are you doing? Did you have to change your champion in the end? You don't need to go to Twitter. You can go on chat and just spam it. The social guy will take your answers. I mean, it's his job.
True.
I'm being naughty.
You are a bit. I didn't enjoy this match.
Okay, first strike on Echo, though.
Yeah.
The melee champion is going to be the one bringing the first strike.
Yeah, so I think it's
Gone.
going to be pretty difficult for Echo to proc it consistently in this lane, but you have to remember, first strike, yes, Archie.
That champion was on Arcane, wasn't he? Yeah. Because we get a lot of fight, we get a lot of jinx and all of that from Arcane.
I mean,
We never got to see Echo.
I mean, if we're talking about Arcane,
okay,
we did get to see Echo in Arcane.
Yeah, but everybody talks about jinx.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna go by the true testament of
the Lord,
teams,
yeah,
I see that Raiden have drafted 2 Arcane champions.
No, that's Nymera and the Jinx. Oh, that's a flash engage coming in with the Ignite. The heal is not going to be as strong as possible. Oh, the last plasma comes in and gets the first blood.
Oh.
Pause instantly. Pirate saying, I was not ready for that.
It's a controversy pause. It
is
quick, this is Blitz scrims.
I mean, there was a lot of velocity on that play. Guy did. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna hit me through the wall? You can't. I'm protected.
You're testing me today, Archer.
Yes. I know where you're sleeping though, so don't test me.
Man, okay, well, first blood goes over to Helmet. Flash forward, picks that one up. I mean, hell, lower durability patch. I don't think he would have had to have flashed that all in, but hey.
He exhausted and come in though.
Yeah,
it's a big win.
So, with that first blood coming in, I'm curious to see how Jewel will want to play around the bot lane, if at all, because the expectation was probably that he's going to try and enable Naruto as much as possible on the top side. Ensure that she can be as isolated as possible in this 1v1, so that she can do her thing, outscale the Aatrox, and just have a pretty good lane. But if Sin and Velocity are getting blasted in 2v2, and then you also see Porcupine show up on the Talia with all the setup that she's going to have from the Nautilus, do you at some point have to go down there to try and band-aid fix it because of things like this?
The hook goes in so slow, and Sin doesn't have enough damage quite yet. Doesn't even have mana to fight that one. Velocity's forced to probably go back. He has a cookie, he has a pot, but he also has a long time until these waves are going to connect with turret, so they're probably going back. Zero in the mid lane. He's trying to get that first strike proccing in. That's 25 gold at least. More than a minion. It's going to be useful in the late game because you can proc it with parallel convergence, and then you can cash. It's a skill. It connects. It procs the rune. You just need to deal damage afterward.
Interesting.
There you go.
I mean, but what I will say is, first strike, I think a lot of people kind of... Well, no, I don't think it's too misconceived of rune, but many people, I think back to Kleptomancy, where Gangplank was kind of using it, Ezreal as sort of, money printing runes. Kennen as well was the other one that was the big abuser of it. I mean, at that point, it just became League of Kleptomancy, and we saw even champions like top lane Victor reared ahead. But anyway, first strike actually scales into the game really well because it converts a portion of your damage its true damage and provides that as bonus, and of course, provides that as bonus gold. So even though Zero might not necessarily get the most value out of it in lane, you'll see later on he's able to ignore a lot more resists through that rune, and
Well, meet the
Velocity.
stone. You're going to bail out yourself, but that doesn't work. You're not playing Monopoly at this point. It is going down 2-0. Really good pressure coming in from Porcupine.
Yeah, loads of great pressure coming in from Porcupine, and I mean, I have to say, Nalto's probably looking at the bottom side of his map right now and just going, guys, hey, Fiora, here, great matchup on the top side. Let me outscale. I promise I can carry the game. But so far, Elman, Sufobius, and Porcupine are doing a great job, you know, ensuring that they can try and shut down the bottom lane in kind of a cross-map means, I suppose, to answer the Fiora. Ensure that we are as accelerated as possible to make the game as difficult for that ticking time bomb as possible.
Both junglers looking into the mid to try to see if they can converge anything. Try to stop Zero at this point, but he has himself this ultimate, so he can always go back in time if he's in trouble. He's in jeopardy at this point. Nulto on the top side, almost getting that level 6 as well, when the Grand Challenge is going to be procced against the Darkened Blade. That will be a challenge that I really want to watch. I haven't seen a lot of Fiora competitively, but look at him. Going straight up for the closed armor, trying to protect himself from the damage from Aatrox.
Yeah.
If you get the steel caps early on, Aatrox gets kind of deleted by the Fiora.
So I think the idea is here for Spuda, pick up an early Bramble Vest just because it can really hamper a lot of Fiora's trading power in the extended trades in particular, but also those kind of small dashes in where she gets that one proc, all of a sudden, instead of healing for, you know, let's say 50, 60 HP, it's cut down a fair amount just off the Bramble, and it does make trading a lot more pleasant, at the very least. As Errol is definitely in the worst end of this trade, but take a look at the CS department, he's doing just fine for now. Does have teleport to come back to lane. Both these mid lanes, actually, found the time to not blow that teleport, but definitely resource pools favoring Zero. Definitely still has that corrupting pot ticking for now, and Errol just going to yield, probably give in and use that teleport, though. Zero puts down Time Miner a little bit too early. With that in mind, Errol will just stick around and eat up this wave.
Looking to the map, it's going to be the second reset in favor of Sin, alongside with Velocity. They don't bring a lot back into the line. Hellman, though, is himself the Quiver, is also farming on the bot side, getting himself some sort of lead. More than 10 minions already. This is going to be complicated for the Jinx, but we know late game, you just need one kill, one reset to get that proc from Jinx. Dragon is going to be started up. It's going to be an X-Tech start up the game. I would like to see what the next one is, just to be aware of what sort of soul we're going to be looking into. We do have some skirmishes going into the jungle. Zulbu is just going to use his monkey business and get away.
Monkey business.
Monkey business.
Yeah.
He's just taunting the enemy and then leave the clone to take all the damage, soak up the damage. We saw that on the previous game. If you focus too much on the clone.
Ooh, hello.
Going to be a wall built up in the mid lane. There's no way to go across unless you flash away. But if you stunned, you cannot move. Errol goes away. The hook comes into white. And finally, Zero comes in to take the kill. Is he going to chrono break? No! It's a 2-for-1 in the end. It's even further beyond. Sin doesn't get the kill. Oh boy, as things went south fast.
Oh boy, and all of a sudden, Domino's pressure on the map dissipates in an instant. It's a play that's trying to be made onto the Victor, and you definitely do understand why you'd want to try and get this Echo ahead in a game like this. You've already accelerated the bottom side. It seemed like maybe there wasn't really an angle to attack Velocity and Sin. Go for the Victor, but instead they've given over 3 kills. Zero doesn't press his damn R key. The chrono break
No
does come
mana.
through. No mana?
100 mana. He didn't had enough.
All right, I didn't quite catch that. Had my eyes on the bottom side of the map. As Herald picked up by Jorbu. Will Velocity be able to escape? Has Flash. Will use it. Just going to sidestep on the Talia W. And we'll be able to walk away with that. I mean, I think super important that the Herald goes down, because now they have the opportunity to try and feed that. I have to feel it goes into the Fiora's pocket. Even if they're not picking up the towers, just giving her the additional bumping gold can really go the distance. And I mean, hell, Jorbu will no matter what. Jorbu will no matter what be the recipient of some of this gold. And he's already got 2 kills in his back pocket. So this is also going to accelerate him, hopefully, if he can get that Herald down.
And this is a team that, wherever you look, someone can scale into the late game. We have Fiora. We were talking about Fiora. Even the Victor, when you get all that control damage in the late game. Jinx, we know what she's capable. I mean, we've seen Jinx maybe too long. And then even Julbo as a Wukong. You can be a menace in a team fight, going for the Divine Center. So that isolated target damage is going to be crucial to proc the Fiora ultimate, get the sustain in the middle of the team fight, and just have your team unkillable. And even if you kill them, you can bail them out.
Definitely a tough composition, I think, for Domino to play into. They don't try and get a slightly bigger lead than they had moments ago before that mid lane skirmish and exchange. It just feels like the brakes have kind of been put on. Whether you say by race or by Domino, definitely by perception. I feel like Great have allowed themselves a little more room by not playing as far up as they were in the early game, especially Sin and Velocity. I think Domino just being a little bit eager in trying to make that play in the mid lane has also cost them so much tempo in this game.
They're fishing. They try to get anything at all. It all just sticking with the flash, not using it too soon. That was crucial as well. I mean, you gotta have courage. When you're surrounded, you have a wall behind it. Like, I couldn't just flash away, but I wouldn't buy enough time for my team. So I just need to hold it. Hold it. That is a mental fortitude, I would say, in favor of this team. And Raid Gaming coming in hot so far.
Yeah.
Good recovery from them.
Yeah, definitely so. The response was really solid. And Jordan in the mid lane, he just wants to allow Errol to clean up this wave and get a decent reset timer. Questioning whether or not he was going to drop the Herald. I think it would have been a very poor time to do it. I still expect that we'll see this go up towards the Fiora. We'll have to see, of course. Jinx is still in the game, no matter how you put it. So
Always, yeah.
seeing that hyper carry get her gold through the Herald would definitely be no surprise.
And also, we need to look into the power of Zero. When will this Echo be popping off in this Summoner's Rift? When do you believe he's going to be the one like, oh, I'm ready to go?
I mean, Rocket Belt is now Echo really heavily spikes on this first item, but he's also, you know, one of the best scaling champions in the game, believe it or not, in terms of sort of the damage he can do and the utility that he can provide. It's just more often than not, players no longer have really the time invested in him, and he's also a very hard champion to make work, to be honest with you.
And also going to be dropped in the mid lane, trying to get that goal for everybody. 3 of them at this point, as Zeno wants to go in. Here comes the Talia. The wall was built, but the rocket comes in, and the HP is going down, but not fast enough. As Zeno is going to go down, the W almost connects, and Zeno is on the hunt, on the chase, but Salmon is going to take it in. Darkin Blade approaches, get the slow down. Jobu is not going to be brought back, as he's going to spin to win, but he's spinning to run away. As meanwhile, Domino are looking for the plates in revenge.
Yeah, I mean, the Herald went down in the mid lane, 3 people, Errol, Velocity, for some reason, and Jorbu picked up those plates, but the response is swift from Domino, and this time it's them winning out in a mid lane play. They're going to pick up the Dragon on the back end of that. Zero is going to pick up a bunch of plates in the mid lane as well, and that's a huge momentum and gold swing for the side of Domino, and I think they really needed that because also up in the top side, again, I'm going to keep on referring to him as this ticking time bomb. I think you get to a certain point, even Echo, who can kind of just, you know, sort of one-shot people unexpectedly if he's got the items, should be able to respond to most of that burst damage by simply pressing the riposte key. So, Nulto, with that skill in his back pocket, should be okay in the 1v1, but we'll see because Zeko can get a little more accelerated. 2-1-1, 107 CS at 14 minutes isn't terrible. Definitely start to take over the game a little bit. The access to the back line is very, very key for Echo. On top of the squishies, should always be able to one-shot them until we start to see some magic resist come in, and that's still something I want to see from these raid members. Pick up just that baseline bit of magic resist because it is going to go the distance against this team.
And I think the Sheen is so valuable for Echo. Even the Lich Bane, when you get it, it was kind of buffed The cooldown is kind of lower now, so Echo can spam it a little bit more. Maybe can get 2 to 3 procs in a team fight alongside with a phase dive. That's going to provide a lot of damage. His ratings are really, really high. You did him dirty, Sin. If you attack in a bush while someone is there, it's going to be revealed. Recall is going to be a little bit slower, but there's no objective on a map, so it doesn't going to be account for anything.
For now, Herald, eat your words. Herald just.
There you go.
And now Domino pick this one up on spawn.
Velocity is going down 8 seconds later, so he needs to let this one slide.
I think he should. And I expect to see the Herald just dropped in the top side now. Just break the tower. Try and push for tier 2 if you want to be honest. There's Ulto on the bottom side. He's shoving away. He's A-OK.
It's a sign gameplay.
It is sign.
Push, push, push. Another wall. Velocity forced to flash away by himself, trying to protect the T1. I don't even know if he can protect the T2. Herald going to go for that minion. There's a personal grudge against that one, apparently, as Yulbo is alone in the jungle. Asks for assistance. Herald is there to try and help him. It's the ultimate coming in from Wukong. The Cyclone is giving him some sort of respite. Meanwhile, Zero is capable of running away. Doesn't even proc the Chrono Break at this time. They can look for the D2 in the mid lane. It's kind of low. Oh, that's going for the building. Spoiler alert.
Don't watch the final episode of Arcane, guys.
I got you.
If you're wondering where the rocket went in that episode.
I'm still sad that Silco. I'm still sad. My favorite character.
Oh, it's you.
Hmm?
It's you.
Silco. Yeah, my favorite character. Yeah, alongside with Jinx.
You know, not that I want to see it, but like, if you ever shaved off the beard, you would just be Silco.
Yeah, but that's not
No.
because I don't think I have a chin. It has been more than 10 years that I haven't seen my shin, so I think it's gone by now. It has been patched.
It's been
Yeah, it's gone now. They removed the shit.
And I feel like people with beards are definitely gonna relate to this. If you haven't seen your chin in a very long time, it just feels bad when you eventually do.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about shaving a beard, don't. Remain beard gang. It's good, I promise. Returning back to the game. For now, we're not going to see a dragon for another couple minutes or so, but we'll be approaching and cresting that timer fairly soon. It's Domino that control the dragons at the moment. Have the Hextech, have a mountain in the back pocket, and this Ocean Soul and Rift that we're dealing with in this game, which honestly, I'm not too sure how highly I rate and value Ocean Soul this game.
Oof. The AP is still not there, though. That's the lucky part for the Jinx. As the floor crumbles beneath her. And he has to be careful that this doesn't happen in the Dragon team fight, which is going to happen in a few seconds, to try to put himself in position to fight for the vision. And it's so important, so key to get that sort of vision when you're fighting versus the Talia, when you're fighting versus the Nautilus, or even an Echo. You need to know where the parallel convergence is going to be used. Yeah, that's a skill that we as play-by-plays have to say in the middle of the fight.
Parallel convergent.
Yeah. I'm not native, though.
It's a long...
It is a long one.
As dragon spawning pretty soon, Domino yielded position in here, in the river. Zero is up in the top side matching also. We have a bit of an engage.
They isolate Velocity, even though the hostile takeover is there. It's not enough, as Porcupine is going to take down Velocity. Now Julbo, looking into the dragon. He can jump across the wall or just go for the engage. As meanwhile, Nautilus is trying to stop it. Hellman is going to take the first kill. They take the 1-for-1 so far. This is a mess of a team fight as Nautilus is running away. And the double kill comes in clean from Hellman. As Loko wants to get anything out of this, but he looks into his team falling in shambles as Zero is chasing. The time winder is there. And it's time to get Echo rolling in, baby. As Domino take down rate.
I mean, that was just such a great team-wide performance fight from Domino. From Hellman to Sarah's ultimate back into the fight, Zoophobia's lockdowns as well. Honestly, I was kind of surprised because I felt like even though they picked off Velocity, that his ultimate could have been enough to disrupt that enough for there to be suitable follow-up, but unfortunately, Ray were just not in position to capitalize. And they end up losing out on the fight, and they lose out on the dragon, and that's definitely the more crucial thing. Losing out on the soul, those stats can be impactful, even though I was saying at the end of the day, I feel like they could have, maybe higher order slightly better soul this game, Domino. I think Mountain, Infernal, probably better options for them. Ocean is still going to feel nice to pick up. Still waiting for Fiora to come online in this game, but looking on the opposite side, people who are online, Zero confident Nash's boot, so he's going for more of a split pushy build instead with that one, looking for more auto attacks in the side lane on towers. Hellman has a Dirk, but has that most likely for the evolution, and has the Zeal, which looks to be building towards, I imagine, will be a Phantom Dancer.
Phantom Dancer? You just said that?
Phantom Dancer.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
That would mean as soon as he finishes that one, I don't know if he still has it, already has it. He's at level 11, so no. But the upgrade on the E, on the rush, on the attack speed is going to be provided.
Depending on the runes as well, I think Hellman could have it already.
At level 11?
Yeah, no, it doesn't quite have it yet. Close, I think.
Yeah, it is close. I think it's level 12, level 12 or 13. With these items, you can get it, unless you get yourself the Phantom Test. Then you can go towards it. I mean, he has 1,300 on the pocket. That should be more than enough. While Jinx is falling a little bit behind. As both top laners, I mean, we're building up to the top laners, joining a team fight and wrecking havoc. It didn't quite happen.
Hasn't quite happened yet.
Yet, okay.
I think definitely Domino's team composition is the kind of one that, can very quickly take over a fight. The resets from Aatrox, the ability to lock somebody down and blow them up with the Talia, hell, even with the Kai'Sa to a degree. I think fights are just so snowballing. I have to look to rate and I have to look to velocity in particular. I have to say, your bailouts have to be on point.
On point,
You can't really use this skill aggressively like you would maybe sometimes like to. It has to be defensive. It has to be on that first target that Domino are trying to go for, that high-value target that you have to keep alive. Otherwise, I think Domino in these teamfights for a little while are probably going to run away for it unless we see some teamfight magic out of Errol or Nuto get some very easy access to the backline.
Zed already finished with the Nash's Tooth, which means he's going to play Guacamole with the Echo instead of going for the Insta Burst. It's the follow-up damage. First Strike will provide him probably some sort of more damage this way. Actually, I would like to ask him, why does he favor the Nashers and not the Lich Bane in this specific game? Comes in the X-Rinker, Jubal, but the Wukong to try and protect himself. We talked about it. It's heavy AP. So if Malva Mortis starts showing up, I think even Sin could go for like an X-Rinker after this Phantom Dancer to protect himself.
If he really wants to, but I think diverting away from Infinity Edge or Lord Dominic's Regard is just a little bit too much, in my opinion. I think just sitting on normal magic, only investing that 450 at most, but I think at this point, just give it your all your gold into the next big item completion because you just need to deal damage with your Jinx.
Look, in terms of gold, they're quite close, but the thing that's going to separate them, and this is going to be the massive team fight next, which I do believe could be the last one of the game if things are set up. And look at Wraith. They're aware of what they need to do. It's going to be the Soul, favorite of Domino, if they get themselves the 4th one in a row. Uncontested so far. That little team fight in the previous one was an attempt at that. It was not enough. So coming in hot with 3 dragons, Ocean Drake, the team that can pro from afar, can go in, back again. Echo with sustainability is not something you want to see.
No.
So you need to protect yourself from that one. Jubal has to run away, and the ground is being cleared by Domino.
It is for now. I have to see how Wraith trying to burst this because they are losing control of the map. Velocity is being picked on, and he's going to have to bail himself out.
Hellman goes in with a hunting instinct, but look, easily Wukong tries to follow it up, but no one is there to help. Hostile takeover finally gets a hold of a three. And Zeta just smacks his body instantly. Chrono shifts back into the enemy's hands. And this is exactly what Raiden needed. But is it enough? Yes, it is, my kind sir. It's a shutdown. A double kill coming in for both caddies. They could look into the dragon, but they're like, nah, we're going for the Baron, Jamada.
How many times today are we going to see a Renato save a game state? Because it seems like Velocity has just found his montage moment with that ultimate. Everybody inside of the Chaos Storm, and everybody gets minced in the choke. And now, they're going to be able to deny the soul. They're going to be able to pick up this Baron. Potentially, Spuda could try and teleport onto this, but they have no information on how low this Baron is, or even maybe if it's going down, to be honest with you. But the fact that they saw everyone cross over, they know it's going down. Baron will be secured, and Ray all of a sudden, from nowhere, have a foothold in this game.
It specifically was the play they needed to win, and they got it in the end. Now Jinx is closer to the Kai'Sa. Victor is ahead at this point. Even Wukong is coming in. And look at Jinx and Aatrox. It was picked Aatrox. They wanted this one. 7,000 gold to 9,000. Almost getting close to that 3-item power for the Fiora. So even in a team fight, that sustainability, that anti-heal. But just as you said, velocity coming in clutch with a hostile takeover. And I saw Zero going at his friends with the Nashor's Tooth with the Echo. Bonk, 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 you go down. You cannot fight on choke points versus Renata.
It's impossible. And I mean, I think we can almost kind of say the same thing for Victor. Sort of, not inherently by rule of thumb, but you don't really want to walk into a jungle, choke like that when Victor can just press E on all of you and press R. And that's kind of what happened during the ultimate there of Renata. Domino just kind of overreaching, trying to find their pick, but they weren't able to find their pick. And Ray's punish has given them so much more in this game. And hopefully, can try and see now towers taken in response to this. They've already picked up the bottom, the mid lane towers. Should be able to get this one and give it over to Nulto. Sin's also going to get his fair share. I think now Sin has the opportunity to get to Infinity Edge. Nulto now has the opportunity, realistically, to get to 3 Ions. It looks like he's going to go for a more of Malmultius. At the very least, a Hex Drinker will come in next. And again, we can start talking about things like the fact that Domino's composition is fairly magic damage heavy, right? It's a lot of magic to be working with from Domino's side, and that can start to bite you in the backside as things go on, as Nulto now tries to go on to Zero, and for the rest of the game now should have control of the side lane whenever he decides to get himself a little more isolated, but now teaming up with this Baron buff to ensure that they can pick up towers.
The wave clear is also on the lacking department in favor of Domino at this point. They were the ones in the lead of this game and trying to do the same again with velocity, but hostile takeover once again, allowing enough damage to come in for Sin, and now he's excited as well. Velocity, no HP whatsoever, but he's there. He's supporting, he's helping, and Sin is running amok on the enemy base. Are they looking to finish this one up, Jamada?
I mean, the small wave, I think it's a little bit overeager. Hype in the comms is what I'd expect.
We need to win, we need to win.
We need to win, we can end the game. Not quite yet. Go for the top side. It just makes too much sense. You already know you have the mid lane guaranteed. You're still working in a 5v4 for a couple more seconds, but you have to be careful on the retreat. The wall, teleport wards could potentially come in, or they could just look for an engage right now.
This is exactly what they want to do. Roldan is there. Aatrox cannot get close because the Chaos Storm is running. And there you go. Superman Rocket gives more time. Sin the edge that he needed. Echo goes in, but the Echo system is ruined. And this is all in favor of the flower as Rage are going to bloom. He's going to be bailed out, and he's going to take them out on the first day of week 1 in favor of Rate Gaming.
What a turnaround.
Yeah.
What a turnaround. An impressive one, to be honest with you.
Again!
I have to say, this is maybe the first durability patch was on. for the simple sake of before 30 minutes.
Oh.
28-minute game.
But you could still feel it.
Yeah, you could
You
obviously
could,
very
you
much
could,
still
you
feel it.
could.
I'm not trying to take away from. We don't need tankier champions. I promise. Riot Games, if you're listening. But yeah, I mean, what a turnaround! I feel like a lot of the expected sort of, I guess, champion power curves didn't really even come into play. It felt like, in the way that I was at least putting it, I feel like it was more about Errol and the Victor eventually when it came around to it. And Velocity, even though he got picked off quite a few times in team fights, he was still able to press his R key. And again, another hostile takeover turns the game around, and it gives Rate their day one victory.
Another victory that comes in clutch for the team that I was losing in the early game. But there we go, durability patch making wonders for the teams that hold on and look for the late game. We're going to look on for a small break before we head on into the interview. So don't go anywhere. No, seriously, don't go anywhere. And I'll see you soon.